Welcome to the She Healed to Live podcast, presented by Cheryl Mazik and sponsored by Ladies of Faith Over Fear. This podcast is all about life after healing from some type of trauma. It's exclusively for women in caretaker roles. That's your mothers, your wives, your aunts, your grandmothers, your sisters, and women in leadership roles. We will unpack the different type of traumas like child abuse, mommy-daddy issues, divorce, grieving from the death of a loved one, and the effects it has on you as a leader. We will share with you the process of healing. Myself and my special guests from all over the world who have been impacted by some major trauma will share with you what life looks like doing trauma, after trauma, and now that they have completely healed to live and operating in their greatness and their purpose. So if you have been impacted by some type of trauma and you're ready to let that thing go, then get your earphones ready and mark us as a favorite, and let's get started. Welcome back to the She Healed to Live podcast. Super excited that you guys are here. We are on the third episode, right, of the podcast. If you are new to the podcast, make sure that you subscribe to whichever way that you're watching, whether you're on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and turn the notifications on and like this video if you like it. And for a bonus, if you love the content, make sure you put a comment down in the comment section. If you are listening to us from the other platforms, make sure that you do a review. Let us know how we're doing. Give us some feedback so we can make sure that we are providing what you guys need when it comes to healing from traumatic events, self-care, and self-love. So let's get into this third episode. So today we're going to talk about traumatic events and how do you start the process on healing. First, I want to read to you guys the definition that pops up when you Google what is a traumatic event. A traumatic event are marked by a sense of horror, hopelessness, serious injury, or the threat of a serious injury or death, right? And so what are different traumatic events that we may go through? People go through they've been through type of events like childhood trauma. When you think of childhood trauma, it is so many different things that you can identify as a childhood trauma. It could be childhood molestation. It could be child abuse from a parent. It could be mommy, daddy issues, right? And how do you have mommy and daddy issues? Maybe one of your parents was absent during your childhood, right? And you have those issues because they wasn't there. Things may have happened because they wasn't there. You start to question, why wasn't they there? Were you the reason why they wasn't there? Who knows what the different, there's so many different reasons why people have issues when it comes to mommy and daddy issues, but that is a traumatic event that people experience. Sexual assaults, abortion, miscarriages, witnessing someone die, right? Whether it's from an illness or whether it was from a dangerous crime, right? Somebody could have been murdered in front of you. Those are different type of traumatic events. Death from a caregiver, a parent, or someone that is very, very close to you. Divorce, being sick or having a close relative being sick, right? I can relate to a few of these. So being sick, I haven't been traumatically sick, right? I haven't been ill when it comes to like a major illness, but I have two people that I can talk about really, really quick in regards to a grave illness. So my daughter, I have a daughter that's 12 years old now, but when she was 2 years old, she had what's called retinoblastoma. And so retinoblastoma is a rare eye cancer, right? And so it's cancer. When you hear the words cancer, what is your immediate thought? Put it in the comments. Death. That is like the first immediate thought that you think about when you hear cancer. And so that was a traumatic event, not just for her, but for me as a caregiver, for my husband as a caregiver, for her siblings, right? When somebody is sick, it is not just the person that is sick that traumatic event affects. It affects everyone in the household. So that is a traumatic event. Another traumatic event when it comes to somebody else being sick, my mother. My mother recently transitioned in 2021 to heaven. She had cancer. She had stage 4 lung cancer, came out of the blue, right? She was fine. But at the end of July, she started to not feel like herself. We found out she had cancer at August 1 and died on August 30th, you guys. That was a very sudden, traumatic event. Things like that is very traumatic, and you have to take the time to heal from those things, right? And so healing is a choice. You can choose to stay stuck. You can choose to stay in that event in your mind, or you can choose to make the decision to heal. And when you heal, you guys, there's a process. I have a process that I document when I help women through the different avenues that I help women heal. And those avenues are workbooks, online courses, retreats, and conferences, right? And when I say conferences, let me go ahead and put this plug in here. We are doing the She Heal to Live conference, and it is going down March the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of 2023. We're going to help you unpack, right, the things that you are replaying in your head about that traumatic event that you experienced. We're going to help you do the process of healing. We're going to give you the tools and the resources, not just myself, but I have some amazing friends, you guys, that are going to help you heal, not just in the healing aspect from one event, but different areas of your life, right? We have a business coach. So if you are a business owner, she's going to help you get rid of that Luke thinking, and she's going to also help you to get unstuck, because when you don't heal, you guys, it affects every single area of your life, believe it or not. It really does. You cannot fully thrive in the areas that you desire to thrive in because you are stuck in that one area, and it affects your whole well-being, right? We also have somebody that's going to be there that's going to help you in your finances, to help you get unstuck from the old traumatic ways of living, a poverty mindset, right? We're going to relinquish that poverty mindset and help you to really have a mindset of growth, a mindset of breaking those generational curses when it comes to your finances. We have other coaches that's going to help you in the healing area. We also have coaches that's going to help you in your spiritual area, getting to know God, right? Jesus Christ, Yahweh. We're going to help you really tackle whatever type of traumatic events that you may have in that area, in the spiritual area. And lastly, we're just going to help you overall understand who you are, what your purpose is, and how to walk in your purpose as your authentic self, right? So if you would love to attend that conference, make sure you go to healedtoliveconference.com. There are different ways of how you can actually come to the conference. If you use the code podcast at checkout, you'll get 50% off of the full access pass to the conference, right? So those are the ways that we help you heal. And so how do you start that healing process? There's an acronym that I use that's called ARGE. ARGE. And so what that means is we're going to break down the A. A means to acknowledge and identify. You have to acknowledge and identify what type of traumatic event have affected you, right? Have you ever thought about when you do something and you like, I do this because I don't know why I do things this way, right? Sometimes we do things because something has traumatically happened to us, and we handle things in this manner because that's the way we've managed to handle those things, not realizing that I do this because of this, right? So you have to acknowledge and identify what traumas have you stuck? What traumas happened in your life that keep you in a place of not being able to grow because you are stuck in that place? And so after you identify it, you have to acknowledge this happened, right? This traumatic event happened. So now what do we do after that traumatic event happened? The next thing you do is you have to make the decision to release that thing, right? You have to release it and detach from the traumatic event. So there are different ways that you can release and detach. We're going to go over all of these. We're going to break them down in the following episodes of different things that you can do to actually help you in the process of acknowledging, help you in the process of releasing and detaching, right? And so there are different ways that you can release and detach. Journaling is just one of the most common ways, right? Where you're able to take it out of your head and put it in the atmosphere and release it. It's just so much that goes from out of you, right, into the atmosphere, and it does something for you when you release it. The third thing is get your power back. You know, a lot of people don't realize when you go through something traumatic and it involves somebody else, that person is controlling you from afar, and you don't realize it. You have to get your power back from that particular person. And how do you get your power back? It is by forgiving. You have to be willing to forgive that person. Forgiveness is not for the person. It is for you to be able to have a clean heart, to have an open heart, to fully be able to receive. God said you have to forgive others in order for him to forgive you, right? We got to think about that thing when it comes to forgiveness. When it comes to forgiveness, you always have to ask yourself, do I want God to forgive me for the things that I've done, right? And if I want God to forgive me, I got to be willing to forgive others. No matter how big or how major that thing was that they did to you, you have to be willing to forgive. If you want your Father in heaven to forgive you for everything that you've done, right? You got to be willing to forgive other people and stop trying to stop trying to handle things on your own. Vengeance is the Lord's. It is the Lord's. God can get them back way better and greater than you can ever think of, right? So you have to be willing to forgive. And when you forgive, right, you're going to gain your power back. You're going to gain that control because you've given them control. You relinquished the control to them. And now it's time to get that control back. Now it's time to gain that power back, right? So you got to be willing to gain your power back by forgiving. And then the last step of healing, you guys, is evolving and creating a new identity. And the reason why I say evolving and creating a new identity, because when something traumatic happened to us, we start to take on the identity of the thing that happened to us. Think about it. You can say that I was a molested child. I was a molested woman. When you talk to somebody, yeah, I am a molested woman. You take on that ownership. And we want to stop doing that. That may have happened to you, right? You may have been molested, but that's not who you are. You may have been, went through a divorce, right? I am a divorced woman. I'm a divorcee. You don't want to take on that ownership. I've went through a divorce, right? But I am a new woman that is open to new possibilities, that's open to new things. And we show you how to actually start to create some new habits, start to learn how to speak life over yourself and to let those things go, right? Yeah, sometimes those things may come back into your mind. And when it comes back, right, normally it comes back by something that have triggered you. And we'll talk about triggering in another episode. And what do you do when you are triggered, right? Because things are going to happen. When you go through the healing process, it is not a one-stop shop, right? Like, one day I'm completely healed. It doesn't work that way. It is a process. It is a journey that you have to make the decision to do. It is a lifelong journey. But what happens when you are in the healing process is you make a decision that you are going to be a lady of faith over fear, and you're going to work every single day to not allow the traumatic event to run your life, but make a decision to say, okay, today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be the day where I am not going to allow that thing that happened to me to control me, but I am going to walk in the new identity of who I am, create the new identity of what I want to become, right? And speak that thing and see that thing and believe it as you go through the healing process, right? So that is the healing process in itself. And so as we go to new episodes for the next couple of weeks, we're going to break down that process. The ARG, ARGE, acknowledge and identify, release and detach, get your power back, evolve, and create a new identity. So make sure that you guys come back to episode number 4 as we talk about, right, how to go through this process. Also, on the up and coming episodes, you guys, every single Friday, you can expect a brand new 5-minute, we're not going to go over 5 minutes on Saturdays, a 5-minute episode segment that is just for self-care, self-love, and healing. You'll get a tip on that Friday for you to actually work on throughout the week to help you really evolve and grow and work on yourself and fill your cup back up, right? Because at Ladies of Faith Over Fear, we believe that you cannot give from an empty cup, because that's the truth. You cannot give from an empty cup. And we want to help you learn how to fill that cup up so that you can give from an overflowing cup. And so that is what those Saturdays are for. So make sure that you tune in to every single episode and make 2023 the year that you are going to make a decision to do something different in order to get some different results. I'm so excited that you guys are here. If this episode really touched you in some type of way, or you know somebody that can use this episode, make sure that you share it out. Sharing is caring. Share it with them, right? And make sure that you come back for episode number 4. Thank you so much again for tuning in to the She Heal to Live podcast. We're looking forward to seeing you guys on episode number 4. Remember, you're born for greatness. So today is the day to let your faith override your fear. You start to operate in your greatness, operate in your purpose, and heal and become the person that God has called you to become, so that you can attract and help those that are called to your voice, right? Have an amazing day, night, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you on episode number 4. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, She Healed to Live podcast, and make sure you follow us on Instagram at Ladies of Faith Over Fear. Tell us all about your healing journey. Tell us about your successes, your failures, or just tell us how we're helping you along this journey. Cannot wait to see you on the next episode.